Hello everyone and welcome to another Title Tuesday. I do love a good Title Tuesday, who doesn't? And we're going to be watching the creme de la creme fight it out in this fantastic online competition. The best, I reckon, online competition that is held on a regular basis. I mean, you sometimes get 900 titled players playing, and this week, well, let's go and have a look, shall we, at who's going to be playing in a quick second. The games are due to start in under 2 minutes now. So looking at the list, have a look at some of those names. Leading the charge at the top is Hikaru. Who's that guy? Anyone know who he is? What's he good at? Yeah, he's pretty handy, isn't he? Very strong, and he's won this competition more than anyone else. But he didn't do so well last week. He lost a couple of games and he withdrew early. And we can go down the list very briefly. We have the Big Fish. Now, the Big Fish is this incredibly strong player from Russia who knocked out who's been a player who's been tipped to be one of the next world champion, and that is Ali Reza. And that was a brilliant result by Fedosev. And then we have MVL, who's leading the candidates along with Nepo, possibly could be playing Magnus Carlsen for the World Championship match. Anish Giri, we all love a bit of Anish Giri, don't we? Very funny chap. And the list goes on. Let's just see. Well, one player that springs to my eyes here is Daniel Naroditsky. Now, Daniel is someone I've commentated with before, and he seems like a really nice guy. And I'm really looking forward to seeing him play. So I want to actually have a look at some of his games today. I'll be keeping an eye on the Twitch.tv chat. So hello to everyone in the Twitch.tv chat. How are you all doing? Hello Chess Patsy UK. Hello to Minir. Hello to everyone else. You know who you are. You're all in there. So good to see you there. And it's going to be a fun couple of hours. So it is basically 11 rounds of 3-minute chess plus 2 seconds of move, and they are off. Well, let's start with Hikaru. And Hikaru with the black pieces here, playing against a Russian FIDE master, and he's playing the King's Indian defense. Now, just to give you a tip where my head moves, if it goes that way, Twitch chat. If it goes that way, I'm in trouble because that's where I'm looking for my commands from Chess.com. If it goes this way, I'm actually looking at the chess. I don't know if you wanted to know that or not, but you do now anyway. So, right, so Hikaru is playing a favourite kind of setup of Bobby Fischer's actually here. Bobby Fischer, in one of his most famous book, My 60 Memorable Games, played this setup that Hikaru is playing, but with the white pieces, and he's turned it around, reversed it. And I really like black's setup in these positions, because the thing is, black is attacking white's king and white is attacking on the queen side. Now, what's more important, the king or a little pawn over on the queen side? Like, if white breaks through, he might win that pawn there. Oh, brilliant, fantastic. If black breaks through, he's going to win the king there. And he might even be ready to sacrifice on h3 as we speak. But first of all, he's holding off white's counterplay. So this, again, if you want to learn this opening, have a look at some of Bobby Fischer's games. He played this incredibly well. You have ideas. Again, you've always got to watch out for the sacrifice. This is something that is a little bit worrying for white. You know, you take here, you bring the bishop down. The king is not very well defended. Black can also try to bring his bishop to some more active square. I suppose if white doesn't get checkmated, white is doing okay, but he's got to avoid getting checkmated. And Hikaru's quite good at checkmating. He's only spent 12 seconds getting to this position. So, well, yeah, I mean, again, hello to Chess Vibes. I hope that's Peter. Good to see you in the chat, Peter. And I mean, Bobby loved the King's Indian defense, the opening that Hikaru is playing. I'm really happy to see top players playing the King's Indian defense because it's an opening I love a lot as well. It's so exciting. But what's happening here? Well, can Hikaru go knight takes e3? I think that was quite a basic tactic that white just fell into there. Let's just have a look at that again. We had this normal position where white is absolutely fine. If I was white here, I'd probably try to go knight b3. I want to get the queens off the board, because when your king is under danger, get the queens off. But he played knight d5, which is quite poor calculation. And after knight takes knight, the bishop has to be exchanged. But then Hikaru has this move which is called an intermezzo. Rather than taking that back, which might also be okay, he can go knight takes e3, threatening the queen. And after some more moves, we get to the current position, but Hikaru is simply a pawn up. And look at this really weak pawn there on e3. This is already losing for white. I find this quite weird. It's quite psychological. People don't really talk about the psychological side of chess enough. But when you're playing a legend like Hikaru, you kind of overthink things. You should play more naturally. And here I think white just thought, oh, I'm playing Hikaru, and he probably didn't play as well as he normally would. And rook d1 now played. What's the bar here, the evaluation bar, has gone a little bit crazy. Well, totally crazy. Why is it? Look at that, +7. So I wonder what the win was there. Was there a forced win? Bishop takes h3. Why didn't Hikaru play bishop takes h3? Oh, look at that. Just call me the new Hikaru. Who needs Hikaru when you got the ginger beard? Why didn't Hikaru play that? The simple point being, if you take the bishop back, check. And that's what I call a juicy check. So that's a little bit strange from Hikaru. Maybe not a good sign. Of course, he's still doing very well here in the position. He's a pawn up, but he could have won another pawn very easily there. So that's a little bit peculiar. But I think we're going to move on. I think it's pretty clear that Hikaru will win this game. Now, I did mention Daniel Naroditsky, and let's go over to his game. He's actually playing another Grand Master from India. I'm not going to click on the name, but you guys, if you want to check who their real handle is, do log in to Chess.com. Well, there you go. I just saw a very cute picture of Daniel. It's a picture of him when he's about 3 years old, holding a chess trophy, obviously an early starter. And here, white resigned because black is crashing through on f2. Queen takes f2 is coming, and well, it's pretty hard to stop that one. Right, so we will now go and jump into another game, and we're going to have a look at MVL. And this position looks much more even. MVL playing is that from Egypt? So there's not many Egyptian chess players. And in this position, well, you would say that black is better because black has this very active bishop and good rook. When you're trying to assess the position, you should look at two things: the pawn structure and the pieces. You know, even if it takes you a lot of time, it's a great way to improve. Look at who's got the better pawn structure. Here, white might have the better pawn structure because this pawn on d6 is very weak. If you've got a bad pawn structure, you better make sure that your pieces are very active to compensate for that. And in actual fact, having piece activity and better pieces is often more important than having a good pawn structure, because good pieces mean good tactics, and tactics win the game. And in this position, well, all of black's pieces to me look very scary. Maybe the knight will now come to d4. This is the kind of thing that's possible. Put the knight on this square here. Okay, MVL is coming in with the idea of checking and winning the bishop, and obviously time is a very big consideration here. So the white king trying to run away, but now the knight does come in, and this should now surely be all over with black winning a piece. G5 here, very sensible move. Black is a piece up, and this is going to be the end of the game. The black king can march in as well, but MVL has other ways of doing it. Very nice tactic. Knight e3 is coming. These top players, they see tactics immediately. Hello Codders, hope you're doing all right. You're going to make a book on this title Tuesday. I'm very interested to know who you think is going to win it. Obviously, if we're talking about who is favourite, and you can keep an eye on the live scores below, I'm only going to be looking at the top 10 boards. You can go again into the Chess.com playing arena to look at more boards. But if you have a look at the top 10 players, I mean, Hikaru is always favourite because he's won it more than anyone. Now, who else do I think? Some of the young Indian players have done incredibly well in this tournament. So Arjun could be a dangerous bet, but he's never won it. So let's move down and we will go a little bit more. Now, Dropstone, who is a young Russian player, and help me out with his name there in the chat. I'm sure some of you watched my show last week. He came first equal, I think, last week. Is that right? So he's going to be one to look out for. Eric Hansen, we all love Eric Hansen because he was brilliant. He was one of the original Twitch streamers. So we've got a lot to thank for the chess bras and the energy that he brought to streaming. And yeah, that's right. So just to remind you who Dropstone is, it's David Paravan, who I can never pronounce the end of his name correctly, but David Paravan, and someone needs to say it to me so I can say it properly, being dyslexic, but you get the idea. David Paravan won it last week, so Dropstone did win it last week. And if we have a look at some other players, well, this is Mamajarov, who had a very bad loss in the last round last week, but good player. We all know who Anish is. I love to see Anish do well. He's never won it in niche, unless I'm wrong. So maybe it's his time. You got Champ here. Champ 2005, another young Indian, dangerous and strong player. I don't know. Who's going to win it? Who is going to win it? Who's going to win it? Okay, come on, guys. I want to hear your suggestions. Well, okay, we're just, we'll see that there's... Oh, look at that checkmate. Can we just have a look at this checkmate? Okay, so hang on a minute. Look at this position here. This position, okay, this is a very exciting end to the game. So white is coming down the board this way, and black... Oh, hang on a minute. Let me get this right. No, black is coming this way, and white is coming this way. They both queen at the same time. So you would have thought draw, right? It's a draw, because they both got queens on the board. The time limit is 3 minutes. Oh, let me get this right. It is plus 2 seconds. No, 1 second to move. I always get that wrong. So you shouldn't get flagged because you get a little bit of increment. And now black plays a lovely little finish. Can you guys see the finish? Can you guys see the finish here? Can you work it out? Black to playing checkmate. That'll give me a chance to have a little swig of my tea. Even money on Hikaru. Hikaru, really? You're going to go even money on Hikaru. I would actually have a little. No offense to Hikaru. Maybe that's you are the odd maker. And when we're just talking about in friendly ways how we think people will do well. Giri or Danya. I would go on Danya. Okay, so the finish is queen to e7 check, and of course there's no point to only seeing the first move. And this is really nice. This is actually like a textbook finish. Where does the king go? Now, if the king goes to this square, what is the winning move here? What is the winning move? Let's hope. Oh, round two starting. The winning move is this subtle little move with checkmate coming in. And after the king comes here, check and mate. Okay, we better get on to round two though. Let's go. Round two. God, they're quick here today. Right, now I'm going to go with Daniel Naroditsky because let's go pick up from the first moves. And he's playing Farhad Rahman of Bangladesh, an international master who has a decent rating. So Daniel starts with e4, the Ruy Lopez, or Spanish, if you can't pronounce the Ruy Lopez. Maybe I should just call it the Spanish. Main line, bishop e7. And now, well, this is one of the least sharp lines. This is a safer line. The main line is where white basically plays rook e1 and tries to avoid moving with d3. The reason that white doesn't play d3 is because white wants to play d4. So the main line is something like rook e1, castles, and now c3. Because if white can go d4 and get another pawn to d4, That's really handy, 2 pawns in the center. But then black has some martial moves, and it gets very complex. So the way that Daniel played this, he's playing it a bit more slower, and he's stopping the dangerous gambit lines. And he plays here a3. Very important when you're playing this opening to keep hold of your light square bishop. And the rule is, as soon as black plays d6, he guards this pawn, so black has a positional threat, and the positional threat is knight a5, winning that bishop. Well, not winning, but getting rid of it. And you don't want to lose this bishop as white, because it's a really good attacker. That's why you play a3, because now if the bishop is attacked, it has a little home to go to. Cool, you're getting a masterclass on the opening here. I bet you didn't want that, but you're getting one anyway. Tough luck. At castles, knight bd2, simple stuff. h3, and now rook e1. This knight is getting ready to travel to g3. d4, bishop g5, and now we have this as the current position. This is the current position as we are, and of course someone rings me on the phone. Typical. Luckily I turned off the noise, so if you hear a vibrating noise, it is just my phone. So in this position here, well, this is a standard idea dating back. Oh, actually, maybe. Okay, no, I was just checking. It wasn't Gary Kasparov or someone. In this position, this is a standard idea where the knight, well, it dominates this bishop, and the threat was to win that bishop when you can see the power of the bishop on b3. And this is another normal idea. You could take with the e pawn or with the g pawn. If you take with the g pawn, you aim to checkmate on g7. If you take with the e pawn, you're playing much more positional, where white now has this lovely square for the knight. Look at that square. And you can just see how powerful this bishop is. That's why you want to keep that bishop. This is really a masterclass in how to play the Ruy Lopez from Daniel. I mean, look at that. I love that bishop. So strong. And I think Daniel has a couple of ways now to go. He can go h4 and g5. h4 and g5 is one way. Hence why black has aimed to try and stop that idea. And now maybe just bishop a2. Okay, Daniel has swapped that one off. He goes rook e4, and I'm sure he's going to get ready to play g5 at some moment. Because the point is, if he can open up the h-file, all he needs to do is get a heavy piece, a rook or a queen on the h-file, and it's checkmate. So here we come. Real textbook stuff. Real. So I am in love, Chess.com UK. I'm in love with Daniel's play in this opening. Whoa, it's good stuff, right? Now I am hearing that Levy is winning against Anish Giri. I don't know if that's true. Let's just see if that's going on. Are they? I don't know if are they playing. Is this Levy? No, that is a lie. Okay, thank you for making me go. Oh no, it is true. It is going on. Okay, let's have a look at that, because I know a lot of you are big fans of both of these players. It looks like Daniel Naroditsky was winning, so we'll just have a look at this game with two of the most popular YouTubers and well, streamers around who have done great things for chess. Gotham Chess and Anish. And I have to say, looking at this position, it looks pretty terrible for black. This looks not just pretty terrible, it looks horrible. For white, I got it mixed up there. For white, black has two bishops for the rook, which is pretty strong, and black has these pawns in the center of the board, just about to come on down the, this is completely crushing. Knight here threatening the rook. Maybe this bishop can come round to c5. Another thing you should look for when you're playing, you got to look for, maybe this one is good, you got to look for targets in your opponent position. There was an old book on attacking chess which called these targets focal points. Yeah, you can call them whatever you want, they don't need to have a specific name, but the point is you've got to find a square in your opponent's position like f2, which you think, okay, that's a target, and then you just got to bring your pieces in to target that square as the bishop comes in here. I won't swap around games in the future. I don't like jumping games generally, so I am a bit sorry for going from Daniel Naroditsky's game, but this is obviously a big game. And now the two bishops are dominating. There's no threat on the 7th rank because the bishop on f6 is so strong. And we're just going to see... what happened? He just blundered a whole piece. Anish went mental. He blundered a whole piece. I mean, well, not Anish. Yeah, Anish... Black. What happened? He won that went. What happened there? Well, I mean, let's just have a look at that. He won on time. Oh dear. I mean, this position easily winning for Anish. All he needs to do is not blunder any pieces. Can we call him Blunder Anish from now on? And he just has to go d3, d2, d1, queen. Thank you very much. It's not that hard. Push the pawn. Go here. I mean, you can just support it with your bishops. But instead, he played this howler. Bishop c2. I think everyone should go into his stream now and type bishop c2, bishop c2, bishop c2, Anish. Weak, bishop c2. Go on, go and do it. I'll have a little drink while you go and do that. That's all you need to do is go over there, right? Weak, bishop c2. Don't actually do that. It might get him in trouble. Well, do if you want to. It would be quite funny. I mean, bishop c2, and now rook takes c2. And all of a sudden here, after this, rook a2. I'm not sure I like that one. If I was white, I would have gone rook c7. Because the point is... if a5, we can win another piece, and you never know, the way Anish was dropping them, he might drop another one. But in the end, it was decided on the clock, with Anish playing very quickly. Levy did have 1 second increment per move, but the final position, to be fair, is not so clear. I think Anish is absolutely fine because he's secured both his pawns, and this pawn could become really dangerous. Anish is certainly not worse in this position. Certainly not worse. I'm having a look at the chat. Okay, remember, if I look left, I'm in trouble. Yeah, if I look left, that's where I'm in trouble. Don't make everyone leave the stream to go to Anish's. No, they wouldn't say that. Nothing bad's going on. Okay, any more games? Let's have a look. Do keep an eye on the scores. Now, another player, a couple of players who are maybe not so well known, but always do well in this event, is Jospem, who is an incredibly talented player from Peru. He obviously doesn't get the chances that a lot of European players play. He doesn't play many competitions, but he always does well in this. Chopper, mate. Chopper. I remember there was an Australian guy called Chopper. I watched the film about some crazy Australian lunatic. Anyone watch that one? Chopper. That's my Australian accent. Pretty shambolic, right? Hello, mate. Any kangaroos around? Give us a Foster's. Yeah, I'll probably get kicked out of Australia for talking like that. And we got the big P Daddy. The big P Daddy is in number 2, Peter Svidler. And does he need an introduction? There's some people who just don't need an introduction, and he's one of them. I'll give him one anyway. Now, how many times has Peter Svidler won the Russian championships? Come on, without Googling. No Googling, don't Google. How many times has he won the Russian championships? Come on, guys, tell me. Anyone who's won the Russian championships as many times as Peter Svidler is a legend. The Russian championships, the hardest championships to win, probably, because they're Russian. I think it's 8 times. 100, maybe a little bit optimistic. He's got to live to a very nice age to get that one, but he's won it so many times. He's a fantastic player. Round 3. God, you don't get much of a break, do you? Okay, now let's go to Hikaru, shall we? Let's go to Hikaru. Now, Hikaru, let's go for the opening moves, has played g6. Okay, so the modern opening. Now, Hikaru does play quite risky openings, and the Perk is a risky opening. This is I'd say not his first challenge, but a Grandmaster 2700. They're pretty handy. I'm one of them on Chess.com. Well, I'm actually a bit lower than that. And now I always think f4 is the best move here, just in case you're wondering about it. This is the most testing. Get 3 pawns coming at you. Bishop e3 is actually called the 180 attack, and the reason for that is on the English chess circuit, this is what I heard, is that many English players just went queen d2, and when black castled kingside, bishop h6, h4, h5, took on g6, swapped the bishops off, brought the queen to h6, and checkmated on h7, and they were all graded about 180, or was it 160 attack? I don't know, one of those two. Okay, so let's go on, and we now have a more positional approach, and I think this is the wrong way to play. You know, you're playing Hikaru, who's a great player. Take him on, start throwing your h pawn up him, start throwing your f pawn at him. Don't mess around with positional ideas, because the longer the game goes on, I would say the better that Hikaru's chances are. And now he plays this very interesting move, b5. This shows his tactical vision. He's trying to take the knight away from c3. Okay, someone's now telling me it's the 150 attack. So I said the 180, then I went to 160, and now I've got to go 150. Okay. There we go. And now g5. Again, I don't like this move either. I mean, the idea of this is to win a pawn, but is it overextending? Let's have a look. So now white gets very greedy, and white has won that pawn. Okay, well, you know, at least white is taking the game to Hikaru, so let's I will give him some credit. And this position, white's a pawn up, but there's something about white's position over on the king side which I don't like too much. There seems to be a lot of holes over here, and you know, a bit of pressure in the center. I mean, I guess white's doing well, but this is interesting. So okay, we'll keep an eye on it. We'll keep an eye on this one. I'm hearing that Anish is not streaming. Is that the case? He's not streaming. He's trying to win it. Okay, well, Anish's odds have dropped then if he's not streaming, or improved, I think is what I meant to say. Now it's 2 pawns up. So is white winning? I mean, if white doesn't do something really stupid, white's doing well, because how did he win another pawn? Okay, now let's have a look. Look, okay. This looks really bad for black, because where's black's counterplay? So white has defended this well. He's defending that one. He's stopping the knight coming in here by defending that. And he's now playing a very sensible move. Get the queens off the board. If you swap the queens off the board, you take out a lot of tactical chances. And he's got this big pawn. Push it, baby. H4, was that really necessary? He could have gone b4 and got his rook behind the pawn. Let's just have a look at that. I mean, one thing you get when you know you've got a winning position, you get scared. Just throw the pawn up the board. If you have a passed pawn, there's no point just, hello mate, you've got to lob it, you've got to throw it. And this would have been much better, because a rook behind the passed pawn is very strong, because it supports the pawn coming up the board. But if we go back to the game, he's allowed Hikaru to get a hold on that pawn, and he's still trying to swap off. Maybe this is a bit too much swapping, but he's gone bishop g4, and okay, it's still good for white, but I would have preferred for white to get that pawn motoring up. Now, what do we reckon? Is Hikaru still going to win this one? I mean, it's possible. It's very possible, but white is playing very well still. This knight has potential to come in, and the black king is now the new target. So white, he can go here and come into f6, but he's trying to swap off more pieces. I kind of like the way white's doing this. I wouldn't play like this, because I think white's saying, okay, look, it's mate, surely. No, knight f5. Knight f5 is mate. And now this checkmate. Boom! And quickly, I don't really want to watch Hikaru's face now, but that was a real result for Emperor 87. A real upset there. Congratulations. It's not easy beating Hikaru, so well done to Emperor 87. And the books are going crazy. The books are going crazy. Hikaru has lost the game. He's not the favourite anymore. I mean, he's got to win all of the remaining games, I'd imagine. There's 11 rounds. There's no like knockout at the end. It's just called a Swiss system. Whoever has the best score after 11 rounds, and if there's two people on the same score, they do it on tie break, which is this number next to the score. And the higher your tie break, the more chance you have, which I've very nicely cut off there. So I might just try to readjust that in a second. 12-1 now, Hikaru. Okay, well, let's have a look. Any other games going on? Let me just bring them up. 12-1. I'd probably have a little bet on 12-1, but it does depend. It does depend if Hikaru goes on tilt. Hikaru seems to be quite an emotional player. He's a really good player. He's the best blitz player in the field. But when he's rolling, he can just roll over the whole field. But sometimes when he, loses a game, he goes a little bit on tilt. So, he can upset him a lot. And I'm very similar to that myself. Meaning that, I often I've lost that game. I get really annoyed with myself. Really annoyed. Unfortunately, Codders, I don't have a chance to really WhatsApp while I'm doing this. There's too many things going on. Maybe another day when they got another commentator, I'll get involved, but not this time. So anyway, back to this game, and this is the second seed, Big Fish. Oh, it's great to see Shirov in second place. As I've mentioned in previous weeks, Shirov is one of my favourite players. And okay, Russian technique there, and you can see that Black's King is getting forced all the way back. Shirov, one of my favourite players. He's been a legend of mine for a long time. As in, he's just been up there fighting in a really tactical manner. He is Mr. Fire on the board. Yeah, it's great. It's great. Okay, so a lot of names I don't recognise here. I'm just going to see if there's any more games going on. They're probably all finishing now. And let's just see if we can quickly update this so we can see. Oh, Anish is at the top. Okay. I feel like it might be Anish's time to do something in this event. MVL lost, we're being told, as well to an FM. Well, FMs can be incredibly good at blitz. It's possible. Who else don't I really know? Now, I'm just going through these names. There's a lot of players. So a lot of upsets. There's a lot of upsets. Alexei Shirov, I'd love to see Alexei win it. He'd be I like to see him win it more than anyone else. An old legend. Alexander Fear is a very aggressive and entertaining player. And we're hearing rumours. I don't know if it's just rumours. In the chat, someone's saying Hikaru working on a ban for the guy. Really? I don't know. I'm not gonna speculate too much. But I always love it when someone loses and they're like, "Oh, ban him! He must be cheating." Ranuk, I don't know if is it Runak? Runak, I'm going to say, is playing this time. Is he playing? Let's have a look. I don't know. I'm going to see. He's a young player from India who does excel in this tournament. A really good blitz player. Eric Hansen on 3 out of 3 as well. And I'm just going to keep going down. Daniel Naroditsky on 3 out of 3. Good stuff. We'll have a look at his game. Jabava. We haven't mentioned the ever interesting and dynamic Jabava. So that's also good. He's up there with 3 out of 3. Who's this guy? Vidit? Anyone know who he is? Vidit. Of course, a legendary player. I'd love to see him play Giri. They often stream together. And let's keep going down. Krekor is one of the main streamer for Brazil. Really nice guy, chilled out geezer. And we keep going down. Lawrence Trent. Whoa, okay. I'm gonna have to look at Lawrence Trent's game. I'm gonna have to. I'm sorry. I know you might be saying, not Trent, not that Trenty. We're gonna have to look if I can find his name. Lawrence is a good mate of mine. And okay, while I try to find his game, I'll put you on this one, Anish's game. And Anish is playing black against Branded Jacobson. Where is maybe now Lawrence has pulled out the tournament because he knows he's pushing. You know, he's going to pull out the tournament and say, well, I was winning the tournament, my internet went down, I was leading. What odds are we getting on Lawrence Trent? That's what I want to know. He's so far down the list. Oh, he's playing Shearoff. We've got to look at this. Okay, sorry, I'm getting excited. So this is Lawrence Trent, who you must have heard of, and he's playing the legendary Shearoff. And it goes with d4, and Lawrence Trent has got his perfect opening in. Can he take down Shearoff? c5. Now c5, in my opinion, is not a particularly brilliant move because of Lawrence's next move, e4. And the point of this move e4 is that after black takes, you go d5, and this is where pattern recognition is very important. I'm going to twist the boards for 1 second to show you what my point is. My point is Lawrence Trent is a speciality player in what we call the Albion counter gambit, which is this move here with e5, and after taking, Lawrence plays d4. Now, the way he's got this with white, he's got an extra tempo in the position. So if we switch the board back, and I've probably messed up everything now, I'm very good at that, and we just reload, the point now, Lawrence has got his dream position, but he's got an extra developed piece. So let's keep going. He now develops very normally. Queen e2. Now, I did analyze this line quite a lot, and it's very dangerous for black because this pawn is a real fawn. But after knight takes e5, I think I came to the conclusion that black should play very calmly and just take this one. But Shearoff goes for queen a5, trying to start a counterattack. King b1, and now bishop f5, lining up these bishops. So this is really, really interesting stuff. Now, this position, I mean, the Albion, I mean, obviously computers don't like pawn sacrifices, so don't pay much attention to the evaluation bar. But one thing we can say is that this position is extremely interesting. And Shearoff now lining his queen up. Now, this is Lawrence moving that attacked bishop back. And there is a threat here of g4 trapping the bishop on f5. What odds are we going to get on this game? Anyone want to speculate on this game here? What is going to happen on this game? I'm going to say this could be an upset. I'm going to go for an Alexei Shearoff win. An upset according to Lawrence it would be. No, I don't know. I'm going to go. I don't know. It's going to be. I could see Trent winning this one. Trent can sometimes do it. This is a crafty move because it stops this one. But now what Lawrence is going to try and do is play g4. But Alexei is bringing more pieces directly in towards the king. So it's a really exciting position. If Alexei can get rid of this knight, then his bishop will be threatening to take on c3. So this is typical Shearoff. Shearoff attacking with everything. Okay, so now Lawrence changing his mind, probably, and he's just trying to swap off that attacking piece. It does seem to me, I don't like that move because of d6. But then Alexei's going to play knight d5. So he's done this one to get a hold on this square so his knight can come here. But now, what is happening? What is happening? This is getting crazy. Knight takes d5, knight takes, so Shearoff is sacrificing. Has he got knight to c3 check? Has he got this move? If pawn takes here, oh, okay, so let's have a look at that. So my point is, if you take the bishop, can Alexei play boom? And you have to take this one, and then Alexei goes, this is why I'm called Mr. Fire on the board. Checkmate is coming. You're just the Trent. I'm the Shearoff. Put that in your pipe and smoke it, young boy. So here, Lawrence gets rid of that knight. He now takes on f5, and after queen g2, black gets his rook into a very dangerous position. Knight f3, and here rook to e8. And I have to say, looking at the position, I think we could have an upset. The queen is coming in. The bishop is coming in. Trent is on fire. Lawrence is on fire. Is he going to do this? Queen takes d5 check. Look at this attacking position. This must be good. This must be winning for Lawrence. Queen and knight are very, very good attacking pieces. I knew this would be a good game. These two players, very exciting. Someone saying, Jameson, Trenty sipping a glass of wine. I expect he's sipping a bottle of wine. Oh, come on, cheer off. Give me that red wine. And then he goes, checkmate, sheer off. Here we go. Thank you for the game. I am the Trent. Okay, so Bishop, it must be quite off-putting playing against Lawrence, because you know, he's very dangerous and he's very well known, but he hasn't won the position yet. Now what he's done is quite a clever maneuver, because I think he wants to position his bishop here. So if the rook comes down, can he do that? Well, let's have a look. Rook here. Look at the time as well. I'm not going to move pieces on the board because of the situation on the clock. Will Lawrence choke? This is the question. Choking means, will he actually win this, or will he be like, no? And will he choke? Will he choke? Will he throw it away? Now, after queen takes, black's only hope is to go queen e1 and take on c1. So queen e1 must be played, or queen h1, one of these moves. But 16 seconds left, and the problem here, oh, he's not done it. He's not done it. Lawrence should be winning. Can he hold it together? They're both under 20 seconds. And Shirov is former top 3 in the world, and he's still a very aggressive player. Lawrence is, at the moment, completely winning. Completely winning. He can check and win this pawn somehow. Queen e4. Queen e4. Get the queens off, Lawrence. Queen e4. Get those queens off. But he's trying to come round with some checks so he can take that pawn. Very sensible play. Well, that's what I thought he was doing. I'm not sure what he's trying to do now. What's he doing? Why is he going backwards and forwards? Lawrence, go queen b8. Take the b pawn. Come on, Lawrence. Just take those pawns. Okay, he's found a move. He's got to win this one. He's 100 million pawns up. Now he's going to... What's he trying to do now? Don't get too greedy. Okay, what's he doing? He's got to be careful of perpetual. Oh, oh dear. Okay. So this must be winning, but he's making a pig's ear of it, because the problem is queen e1 was checkmate. So he now has stopped that one. So let's just show that. I didn't actually see that myself. So in this position, let's keep with the game. Sorry, I don't want to move away from the game. He's won. He's won. Well done, Lawrence. Absolutely brilliant. And I just want to show the end of that game. Well, one part. This is actually a trick that I might have fallen in for. In this position, if you ever play queen takes c4, look at that evaluation bar. That was a pretty shocking topple. Queen e1 checkmate. But Lawrence has won. Very well done, Lawrence. Very well done. It might have been bad technique, but it got there in the end. Now, we are going to take a short break. I believe that was round 4. Lawrence on 4 out of 4. Congratulations. And I would like to thank a YouTube user as well. And that YouTube user is it Fabian4711, who gave a little donation. So thank you there. And I'm going to take a little break. Well done to Lawrence. That is a brilliant victory over one of the best players in the world. And well, actually, before I do take a break, it does seem that Anish is still playing. Okay, I say that. And who won? Anish lost. Anish lost to Brandon Jacobson. So Anish has lost. So Daniel Naroditsky, how is he getting on? Daniel is on maximum as well. Okay, so we'll be back in no time at all. We're only going to be back. We're only going to take a short break. Time to restock on your tea, coffee, whiskey, or wine, or whatever you drink. And I'll be back, with more of the action. Remember, it's 11 rounds. We've only had 4 rounds. There's a load to go. A load of excitement. Can Lawrence Trent pull off? Can he pull off? I was going to say something rude there. Can he pull off the most amazing upset victory in Title Tuesday that has ever occurred in the history of mankind? Be back soon.
looking really ominous, especially given that he's down on time. This is the Magnus Carlsen squeeze. Wow.
Hikaru's playing in front of hundreds of people. Imagine being in his shoes right now. I mean,
up by 4 games. Oh, I can resign. Yeah, Hikaru knows it. It started with 16 players, and it all came down to one man, Magnus Carlsen.
And this is a pretty great matchup. I know people love Hikaru Nakamura.
Hikaru is the favorite for a reason.
He's the beast, an absolute monster.
It has been Hikaru's Speed Chess Championship this 2018, Hikaru Nakamura. The overall 1 seed takes it home in the Speed Chess Championship.
Obviously, this is a rematch of last year's SCC final. What a finish, by the way. I mean, that's been the story of the match. Hikaru Nakamura has just kind of out-swindled, out-tricked, and out-calculated Wesley in the critical moment. Oh, dude, that's a nice move. Wesley's shaking his head. Hikaru wins a pawn. He's going to draw this game.
I can't believe it what just happened.
That is unbelievable. Hikaru Nakamura holding that position. He had no business drawing that game.
Okay, so it's been a very exciting, I feel, first 4 rounds. I mean, this has been great, and you know, it's always nice to see a friend do well. You're going to be biased, aren't you, if you see a good mate taking out a big name. And the big news so far, if you've only just joined the stream, why have you done that? You're in trouble. Is that Lawrence Trent took down Alexei Shirov, which is a fantastic result for Lawrence, so well done. Now, one thing, a lot of people joke about Lawrence. You know, I've seen him on streams and they joke about his strength. Now, I do want to say he's a really good player. He could be a grandmaster, and he's just shown that in that game. He's got a lot of potential. I think the only reason people joke about him, it's normally Magnus Carlsen joking about him. And Magnus Carlsen get away with joking about anyone's strength because he's different gravy. So well done. And having a look at the scores, let's have a look at the top and see what is going on at the top there. Sorry, I had it on different screens so you can have a look. A number of people on 4 out of 4, and we have Becca 95. Now, I don't know the real name of that. Now, you can go and check out their actual handles if you want to. Go into the Chess.com live chess and just follow the Title Tuesday event alongside this. Is anyone watching this on the TV, by the way? I've just worked out how to watch Twitch broadcasts on the TV when I can sit back on the sofa, you know, and just be like, oh yeah, it's a bit of Danny Wrench. Hello, Danny. You know, just put my feet up on the big screen. It's very, very relaxing. I don't know. Or where are you watching? I'm kind of interested. Anyway, let's go through the list. So we have Arjun, who is this amazingly talented player, junior from India. Who's this guy? Eric Hansen. Oh yes, I've heard of him. Iuku FM from Poland. Don't know this guy so well. And going down the list, we want to have a look. Blitz Streamer's up there, another famous streamer who's on maximum points. That's really good to see. And there's a lot of people on 4, so I'm just going to keep going down. This is Dmitry Adriaking, I think. Lawrence Trent, as we know, again. Fedosev, who's the 2nd seed on maximum as well. Brandon Jacobson, who beat Giri blundering a lot today. Maybe he's drunk. No, I don't mean that, of course. Maybe just having a bad day. Daniel Naroditsky on 4 points as well. So there are 26 people still on maximum points, and we're in. Now, let me just update the games. Update, please. I might have to do a little refresh. Who should we look at? Let's do a little refresh. And I'm going to go... I mean, I'm tempted to go Lawrence Trent, but that might annoy a lot of you. So we're going to go and have a look at Eric Hansen instead. Let's have a look at Eric. So Eric has the white pieces. He's on maximum. He's playing Lag Manta. for Russia, and it has started with a Caro-Kann, and he plays this system which is quite popular. And now after this move, knight to f6 is now the trendy move to play. This is like the trendy variation, and now Eric plays a really safe move. He plays d3, and he basically says, I want to take you into an ending. This is really strange. I was assumed Eric was a very aggressive attacking player, but he's allowing the end game to occur here. So he's now playing a bit like Ulf Andersson or some end game legend. And it goes on. I might not be looking at this game too much because it's not the most exciting, but we will get up to date with the position. And here, well, I think the strategy has worked out very well, because there's a big tactical threat of bishop takes b7. This idea of putting the bishop on b7 is not a good idea. You need the bishop to defend the knight there. You need the bishop to defend the knight. And the problem here is, what does black play? If black castles queenside, Eric wins a pawn. If black plays king e7, which would be natural to try to get the rook in, you still take the pawn. And you're going to go rook takes d7 next. So instead, oh my words, I thought this was going to be a long endgame grind. Instead, black found another way. Now what do you want, if in life, if you have to blunder either a pawn or a piece, stick with a pawn. That's my wise words of the day. If you've got a choice, a pawn or a piece, do the piece. He castles, boom, and now rook takes d7. Oh dear. Right, I hear the crowd is going crazy for a bit of Trent action. And is he doing it again? He's doing it again. Lawrence. Can we all hear a Lawrence? Can we all hear a Trent in the chat? Come on, I'm going to do it. Trenty, come on, Trenty. Okay, there we go. And I think he's got a good position here again, right? I mean, he's got two pieces for the rook. And look at his pieces. They're coming in. This must be good for Lawrence. He's playing a grandmaster from Russia, a young grandmaster from Russia. And hello to Ruland in the chat as well. And now he's just keeping it very simple. Now, the rule is, really, if you have two pieces for the rook, that is a very good thing. The two pieces work much better than one rook on its own, unless you get really deep into the ending. If you get into a late ending, the rook comes to life. But there was a big threat of knight takes there. Now, can he do something with knight here? This must be good for Trent. If he just, or maybe knight f4. Knight f4, just try and take this one. And with knight f4, the knight can come into e2. This is really good for Lawrence. Are you going to get to 5 out of 5? What's he done? Why is he so good at it? What is that? Oh, come on, Lawrence. Oh, I see. I was about to blunder a piece with this one when that was the move. But here you can even go king e8 here. Because if rook takes here, knight e2 check would have won. But he's maybe getting a little bit nervous. This is kind of the move which shows a little bit of nerves. But he's still doing well. He's still doing well. The king goes back here and we have more moves. I'm hoping that it's going to automatically update. And now more pieces getting swapped off. I don't know if this is the right strategy from Lawrence. I don't think he should be swapping off pieces. Because like I mentioned before, the king and rook are actually very good in the ending. I don't like the way Lawrence is doing this. I'm not sure about this anymore. I know that he's got a big advantage. He's got to get this knight in the game. Where is that knight going? Is he going to go g5 and bring it here? It's not clear. Yeah, this is better. Let's try to get the knight somewhere good. But where? e5. That's where you want to get the knight to. So how do you get the knight to e5? Maybe king here and knight d7? This would be a good idea. Get the knight to this square. So in order to get it there, you need to get it to d7. In order to get it to d7, you need to move your king out the way. So I like king d8, knight d7, knight e5. He's gone this way. Where's that knight going? The one thing with knights, you've got to find the best route for them. And if anyone's improving their position, it's now white. White is coming in with the king. Come on, Lawrence. I don't like this. Okay, now he's trying to trap that rook. He still probably is better, but look what White's doing. Look at the knight. Why has he put the knight there? When you're trying to find route for your knight, Make sure you... Okay, you can go... No, he's gone back. He should have gone to A8, then B6, then here, and then here. Where's that knight going? I don't think Lawrence has a clue what he's doing here. Lawrence, come on, man. You've got to get a grip on this. Did it drop a pawn? Was I dropping a pawn with King D8? I didn't see that. Okay, maybe I was. I mean, so his new idea is to get the knight to F6. But I mean, of course, White shouldn't win this one because White can't do anything. Hang on a minute. Hang on a minute. It's nearly checkmate here. Oh, okay. What was the move there? There was a big swing. He could have played knight takes H5. Oh, no, Lawrence. And this would have gone knight G3. And if rook takes, you go G6 check. So Lawrence misses a chance. And instead, he goes back to doing some slow maneuvers. Bishop F6, G4. And he's got to find a way to break through. And he's now bringing the king back. I'm a little bit worried that Lawrence really has no idea what he's doing. Am I allowed to say that, Lawrence? I can. And here now the king can come back again. King F7. And Lawrence has got to try and make I don't see how he's making progress. I don't see how he's going to do it. The only thing he can try is get his knight to this square. This is what I would try. So knight D7. Is he going to finally try this one? No, he's coming back. He's gaining a little bit of time on the clock. He's going back again. This is going to be a perpetual. This is going to be a perpetual. And now I just don't see how he's going to do this. He hasn't found the right plan here. He's going backwards and forwards. Knight H7. Can you try that one? Where's the knight going? No, he's going for the draw. No, Lawrence. And maybe White is even going to try to win by playing G5. I think Lawrence has said, I can't win this. I'm going to take the draw. And this must be a draw. Knight D7. You've got to play this move. He's played it. Good boy. Good boy. Because at least now he can put the knight on this square. And that is some kind of progress, I think. Because now the rook is passive. And you've got to try now. No, don't move the knight away. Don't move the knight away. Get your king to G5. I mean, it might be a draw. It might be a draw. The position anyway. But, I mean, in a real game, you'd think... Oh, rook e6 could have been quite strong there, no? There's still a lot going on. This could still change. Anyone think he's going to lose? Anyone think he's going to lose? Anyone think Lawrence is going to lose this? He has actually kind of thrown this away, right? But now White is looking a bit dangerous. White's getting the rook in here. Oh, no, don't lose this one. Don't lose this one, Lawrence. Please don't. Oh, no, and he's getting very short of time. Oh, no. Oh, no, Lawrence. No, Lawrence, what are you doing, man? What are you doing? Oh, this is painful. Come on, push the H-pawn and pray. Push the H-pawn and pray. Why is he... Oh, I don't know if I can watch much more of this, to be honest. This is getting a little bit too painful. It's like, you know, it's like... Oh, dear. It's like watching someone with a terminal disease in hospital, isn't it, this? It's like, you know, you like the guy and it's just... Oh, no. Oh, no, Lawrence. Oh no, what have you done? What have you done, man? Oh no. Oh dear, this is just not good. And the D pawn is now queening, and oh no. It's a pity Lawrence is not streaming this, as that would be very funny, but this is just getting more painful. Get ready for the funeral. Get ready for the funeral. It's not going to be pleasant. And you can see in disgust he's playing on, but I don't know why I'm even looking at this game. It's kind of one of those morbid things where you just have to watch it until the end, you know. And oh no, that was an absolute travesty. I have to say, he played so well. He played so well, Lawrence, and he ended up losing. Oh Lawrence, oh Lawrence, oh Lawrence. That was actually, I think, Primo Man defined that well. It was just a car crash. That was a car crash to watch, wasn't it? He was doing so well. No. Anyway, maybe he'll come back, but we're still going to keep an eye on the 5 out of 5s, and we saw there's still a great tournament ahead, even though we got no Lawrence at the top now. Can't always get what you want. We have these guys on maximum, so let's just have a look at the scores. And we have Angry Twin. I'm not going to click on all their names. You can have a look, do that yourself at home. Matty Bar is I know this guy. He's a really nice guy, but my memory's rubbish. Strong Polish grandmaster Eric Hansen, Alexander Moskalenko, who's, I believe, the guy. Is he the guy who's written some really good books on chess? No, maybe. I'm not sure. Might be. He's a good player. Pavel Shapopenko, another strong Russian. You've got a lot of Russians up there today, right? On Maxman. Bartel, that's right, Bartel, really nice guy, strong player. Tinderman, I don't know who this is. Daniel Naroditsky. Okay, I'm going back for me personally. I'm going to support Daniel Naroditsky. And you can see there's some famous names just below on 4.5. Arian Tari is on 4.5. Champ, don't know who that is. Former prodigy. We're just going to go down, see that group. Blitzstream, doing very well. Well done, Blitzstream. And Jabava, who might be streaming himself. So do go and check out his stream as well occasionally. Don't leave me now, but you can check out Jabava's stream. And the next game started. So I think we're going to look at Daniel Naroditsky now, because here's one of my tips before the tournament. And I'm going to blast through the opening moves very quickly. Again, I didn't realise the game started. Now, I can't believe Timmerman has played the orangutan. Now, there is a rule. Any opening that is named after an animal is bad. So just bear that in mind. And Daniel Naroditsky is going for quick development. Now, white has the better pawn structure because he has more pawns in the centre of the board. But black has very good development. Black now trying to push forwards in the centre. And we can see that Daniel has created some problems by pushing forwards with this pawn. They're moving really quickly. So let me just get up to date with the current moves. And white very cramped in this position. And we go into an ending. And this ending is where we stand. And it might not be so bad for white. But again, the pawn structure is even. Evaluate pawn structure pieces. But the pieces are quite bad for white because the knight on the rim is dim, knight on the edge of the board. The bishop is also very passive, and Daniel already has his rooks on very good squares. He now brings in his knight to create some problems, maybe even coming into d2. The other idea is just to take the bishop, gain the bishop pair. So bishop here played, trying to pin that knight down. And that looks like a good move. Maybe white can try some rook here, but now Daniel just supports his knight. So it's definitely better for Daniel in this position. Has Daniel ever won? Title Tuesday before? Let's get some updates. Come on, guys. Has he ever won it? Quite possibly. Who knows? And remember, the live scores, it's 11 rounds. If you just come and join us, it's 11 rounds. And this is one of the premium chess events online. It is the Title Tuesday event. It happens every Tuesday. You have to be a Title Tuesday. You have to be a title player if you want to play, meaning you've got to be a Grandmaster, FIDE Master, Beth Harmon, or someone like that. And these are the top 10 players. So it's not open to anyone, only open to elite every Tuesday on Chess.com. We're halfway through on round 6 of 11 rounds, and it's blitz chess, so it's 3 minutes per game plus 1 second a move, so you get an extra second every time you make a move, which is kind of makes it a little bit easier, right? Now Daniel going for g5, and you can see black gaining space over here with what is a pawn storm. It's raining pawns, hallelujah. At least I didn't say pawn. That would be weird, wouldn't it, if I said that. Rook c3. Now Daniel using his pieces, he's threatening to win the knight on a3. So I imagine, okay, well, white's decided to take that one off and get his knight to a good square. But there is a phrase about the two bishops, and in this position the two bishops are looking very strong. Look at that poor bishop there. That poor bishop is caged in. It's caged in by the pawn on f4. It's basically trapped. This bishop is just like, it's been entombed. It can't get out of its tomb. Totally entombed with these guys. Goodbye, bishop. It's just like a piece of wood. It's not doing anything. It's been suffocated. So black, I'm expecting, will win this one. Keep an eye on the clock. They're both under a minute now. And here, well, another thing Black is trying to do is get his rooks to this rank. It was an old book by Nimzovich, who was a great player hundreds of years ago, maybe 100, I don't know precisely. He wrote a book called My System, which was revolutionary at the time, and that book gave, I love that move, just trapping the rook in. And one of the things he said was, if you can get your rooks on your opponent's 7th rank, then that is going to cause them a lot of grief. He probably didn't say it in those words, but you get the idea. This rook is pressurizing, but there's a lot of tactics going on here. White now threatening the rook here, but Black ready to take that one. Okay, hello to Blair as well. Barbary Macaque in the chat. Hope you're doing all right. You can, by the way, Codders, you can trust Blair, Barbary Macaque. He's a good friend of mine, and vice versa. So I would actually bet on Daniel Naroditsky to take this one, to take this title Tuesday. I'm just putting a little bit of pressure on him. He's doing very well in this game. He's going to win this game, no doubt about it. Now, what's he going to play here? Can he even play some move? White is threatening to take the bishop, but can he allow that to happen and then bring his rook into the position here where he's pressurizing the bishop on g1? So Daniel using a bit of his time. They're both now down to 20 seconds, and instead he just keeps it simple, and he's going to try and pick up that pawn on a4. Just to remind everyone, bullet chess is not the time limit here. Bullet chess is where you have 1 minute each for the whole game. It's basically who's got the quickest wrist, you know. I won't do the quick wrist action. And Daniel Naroditsky is one of the best bullet players in the world, so he doesn't mind about the time. And now he has the extra rook. White is suffering. If only Daniel can get his rook around to the h-file, that could be the end. But the other way to win this is just to pressurize this square here. So you can try to attack that one. The king, a very good piece in the ending. So also, this is just completely winning now for Daniel. He's bringing his king up the board, combining it with pressure against this, and it's going to be what we call Zugzwang. Well, okay, it wasn't. This is going to be completely winning. Bishop goes to c6, I expect. No, he's going for mate instead. Rook h1, next move. Well done, Daniel. So that puts him to 6 out of 6. And I'm just going to see if any more of the leaders are playing. And it does look like we might have one more game, and that was a draw. So is that maybe there's only 2 players on maximum points out of about 700 who started. Well done to Daniel, who won that one. Daniel, the game we're just looking at, is in 2nd place. We have an international master in 1st place, which is quite rare to see, because the highest you can get in chess is grandmaster. So when they have the IM next to their name, that's only international master. Only, it's very hard to get there, but it's not as good as the GM score. So 3 players, it looks like. Eric Hansen, whoa, great to see Eric doing very well. If you want to check out another great stream, a great stream, then go and check out the Chess Bras, Eric Hansen streaming on that channel as well, and maybe he's streaming his games. He normally likes a bit of techno music in the background to get the juices going. That's my techno dance, or chicken head as it can also be called. Now, who else is on 5.5? Let's just have a quick look at the score there. So we do have Jabava, who is this maverick chess player who comes up with crazy ideas in the opening, and he really shows a bit of his personality there. Jabava kind of reminds me of ex-world champion Macau Tao, and Macau Tao does remind me of Beth Harmon in some way, because Beth Harmon was rather excessive. Of course, I'm talking about the Queen's Gambit, and world champion Macau Tao was very excessive. He had a penchant for alcohol and other things, but he was one of the most brilliantly talented attacking players. And there's some great stories about Jabava. Shall we just staying up very late at night and turning up the board the next day in like the European Championships, and then crushing his opponent in 10 moves or so. So lots of legendary players, but we only have 3 players on 6. I'm hoping Eric is going to play Daniel Naroditsky. I don't know who Cuban is, so maybe someone can find out who the Cuban is. Now I'm keeping an eye on the Twitch chat as well, so hello to everyone in the Twitch chat. Good to see you there. Pip and Chuck, Ginger GM, how do you think you'd do if you were to play anTitled Tuesday? I'd win it easily, clearly. I just like giving the other players a chance now and again. You know, I can't win it every week, can I? You know, just got to give them a little bit of a chance. I don't know. I have played in it a lot. You can check out my YouTube channel, Ginger GM on YouTube, and I've got lots of videos there of me playing Title Tuesday and commentating. I've never won it. I think the best I've come is maybe top 20 out of 600-700 players. I'm too slow. I'm too old and slow now. You know, it's a young man's game. Yeah, I'm 40 years old. I might as well put my slippers on, get my pipe out. That sounds wrong. And my hot chocolate and sit on the porch and just chill. That's where I see myself. Okay, the next round started, so I have missed. Okay, let's just get an update. Who is playing? It is, okay, Daniel Naroditsky is playing the other leaders, so I'm going to get up to date. These are 2 leaders playing, and now Daniel's just played B3. One of the things I really like about Daniel's play is he plays every opening, and he's now transferred this opening, as we're going to see, into the Birds opening. The Birds opening is named after English player Henry Bird, who was a very strong chess player some time ago, and it's like a reverse Dutch. And as we go on, we can see that we're basically getting a pretty standard position in the Birds. Now, one thing I love doing here is trying to bring my rook around just to checkmate. So does he go for this? He does. Daniel does try to bring his rook around, but this is a very good break from black. This is black's main break to liberate the rook and to liberate the bishop and queen. You can see before that this pawn was in the way of that, but now after some exchanges, black is going to liberate one of those, and black's won a pawn because this pawn on e3 is said to be in a pin, meaning it can't move because you'd lose your queen. It's pinned down. So Daniel brings another piece over. It's not all bad news for Daniel. Daniel has this brilliant bishop looking at the black king and a very dangerous knight around the black king. Black swaps off that dangerous bishop, and we're going to get to the current position very soon, but now he's won the pawn back. So he gets rid of the bishop, but he's lost the pawn. I'm wondering here if knight h6 was a possibility. My idea is knight h6, and if you take here, I take on f6. And if you move your king, well, I'll just take there anyway. I love sacrificing. But okay, he didn't play that. Daniel went rook to f3 instead. b5. And now he's got knight takes g7. Put that in your pipe, young man, and smoke it. And this has a similar idea. This is a lovely little tactic. We're just trying to get rid of the defense, the pawn that was defending the knight on f6. So we're demolishing the king side over there. And if you take the knight, I will take that one there, and it's defended, and I have double power. Rooks on an open line are very good because they function very nicely on the open file. So now black counters attack by threatening checkmate. The threat is queen takes their checkmate. You've always got to watch out for your opponent's last move and see what they're doing. And now he's got knight takes e2. What is happening here? He's trying to keep this knight on pre. Knight takes e8. Queen takes g3. Knight f6 check. King h8. I'm just going to get up to date with the boards. Queen h5. Threatening checkmate. Knight to f8. Defending checkmate. Queen takes piece. And now Daniel seems to me to have won a piece at the end of all that violence. God dear. Oh, and there's a big blunder at the end there. This is kind of what we call a sniper queen. It's kind of hiding away from everything. You don't see it because it's on the other side of the board. And you go, boo, 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 rook b8. Yep, I'm coming down for you. And then all of a sudden the queen, whoa, jumps to life. What happened there? Wow, that was over very quickly. Brilliant play from Daniel. But I think Black must have been doing okay at some part. But the position really turned when Daniel was allowed to play knight takes g7. So the big mistake by Black was not looking at White's dangerous pieces. You've got to get into your opponent's mind and seeing what his most active pieces are playing. Probably Black should play something like knight g4 here, threatening checkmate immediately, because the way he did play it with b5 allowed this move, and Daniel was winning after that. Now let's go to Eric Hansen's game. So Eric Hansen, can he keep up the 100% score? He's playing Champ 2005. Who is Champ 2005? Anyone know? By the way, did you get a bet on? I wonder if there was a little... I'm not saying a financial bet, because obviously that's not appropriate. But Blair, did you get a bet on? I'd like to know. Now in this position, who is the champ? Who is this guy? I'm not going to click on the name here because it'll take me away from the scores, but someone can tell me. Okay, that it is Ranuk Sadwani. Okay, he's changed his profile name, right? Oh, it's his other account. So Ranuk is a really good player. I think he came second 2 weeks ago, and did he come third last week? So he's kind of due for a win, and he's really taking Eric Hansen to the cleaners here. These bishops, look at them. He's now won the rook there, and this one threatens both of them. So the bishop comes to defend it, but this is completely winning for White, of course. And Eric is not going to be on. The only person on maximum is Daniel. It's Daniel. So and who did you get a bet on? By the way, Blair, I'm interested to know who's your man. We're keeping an eye on the scores here, by the way. I'd like to know who everyone thinks is going to win the tournament. I'm interested to know. Okay, so now Eric's getting a little bit back in the game, but he is a whole rook down, and after rook, well, can you take that one? The only danger that White's got is his king's a little bit exposed. So Black can now try to come in with the check. But can we do a checkmate here? Okay, this is a very safe move. Get the queens off the board, and Eric can resign here, basically, because he's just a whole rook down. King g3, rook h1, probably going to be checkmate as well, because the Black king is very, very short. So well done to Runuk, who is he only 15? He's only 15 years of age. I can't believe how strong this guy's got an abundance of talent. 15 years old, unbelievable. And he's now gone to 6.5. We only have one leader, Daniel, on 7. You got any IM to win? Okay, that's quite interesting. That's a little bit I'm not sure about that bet, Blair. You guys should always have a little private one on the games. I think could be quite funny. My money is on the only leader, Daniel Naroditsky, who does a lot of commentary for Chess.com. So you may have seen him commentate before. So go and check him out. Daniel Naroditsky has his own Twitch channel. So go and look at his Twitch channel as well. You can check out my Twitch channel. Well, Ginger GM is basically my name. My Twitter account is Ginger_GM. So if you want to see what I'm up to, Ginger_GM. Ginger GM YouTube, you'll find me. If you want to stalk me, you can. You know, you wouldn't be the first. You know. This game is all over the place. What's happening here? White must be doing well. Okay, now this is a winning position, I guess, because of these two pawns. But hang on a minute, he's blundered. Queen. Oh no, it's check. Whew, blimey. And yeah, these two guys are running, right? Pass pawns. They're like running men. They are running up the board. And Black's only chance is to get through to the White king. So this is a little bit of an upset. You can see the grades, and Black is the favorite here, but he's getting outplayed by White, and he's trying though to get some kind of draw. Has he got a perpetual? What I mean by perpetual, if you repeat the same position, and he's managed to draw. Unbelievable. He managed to draw that one. If you repeat the same position 3 times in a game of chess, it can be a draw. You can claim a draw. Okay, so that's a very good save by, is it Savion? Savana, that's how you say it. Savana, young Russian grandmaster. Okay, now there'll be another break after the next round, after round 8, just to update you on the scores. Was that a draw in the end? It was a draw. Okay, just to update you on the scores at the moment. Well, you can see the list here. It's 7 rounds of 11 have been played. We're getting to the crescendo of the tournament. There's only 4 rounds left, and Daniel Naroditsky, the popular streamer, is on maximum. These guys biting at his heels. Oh, we have the exotic princess. I'm not going to talk too much about that handle. I've talked about it a lot. It's probably one of the worst handles you can have, but there we go. He's one of the strongest players, so he can get away with it. Eric Hansen dropped a point, but he's still up there with a shout on 6 out of 7. I think the winning score could easily be 10 out of 11. It could easily be 10 out of 11. So that's worth bearing in mind. So these people, is Hikaru still in the mix? I don't think he is, but we do have the likes of MVL, who is in the lead in the challenger to the World Championships over the board in real life, and he's got a good chance of even facing Magnus Carlsen for the World Championships. Anish Giri is up there. I don't think he's streaming today. He's been blundering a lot, and the next round is off. So I'm going to now look at Jabava's game. It's always interesting to see this Maverick player, how he's getting on. If I can find his game. While, I mean, the Daniel Naroditsky game is a big game as well. Let's stick with this one, because this is maybe a key game to decide the whole tournament. We have Daniel Naroditsky, and we'll go through the opening moves. He goes b3 again, and he's playing this incredibly talented 15-year-old. And we'll go through the see, I was nearly sick when I said that. 15. How can you be so strong at 15? And we now have knight d4. Now the reason that... Oh, why is that? Okay, sorry about that. For some reason you had echo there. I think I pressed the wrong button or something happened. That was weird, but okay. No echo anymore. It's always good to have a little bit of echo. Don't you want to hear me twice? Hear me 3 times? I could put myself on 3 times if you want. The idea of White's opening here is to prove that this bishop can be a very good piece. But by doing that, White gives away a space advantage and Black gets a very big center. And having a space advantage is very useful in chess, and by that I mean Black's pawns are further advanced into White's territory. White is a little bit more cramped. White hasn't advanced any pawns past this rank. On the other hand, Black is sort of controlling all of this rank here. Now let me just update. Has it really been frozen, or is that an error on my end? Let me just see if I'm going to refresh the page quickly. Which probably is not going to help, is it? Let's see if we can do that again. Yeah, well, I thought that was okay. We're going to go back. We'll just update the moves there. It did freeze a little bit, but on the other hand, White has this brilliant bishop, so it's kind of a thing between those two things, and now both sides developing quite quickly. And after Castle's queen h4, Black starts the first attack. And Black's threat is to just crush on h2 here. Bishop b5 check means that Black can't castle. And of course you want to get your king safe when you're playing. But the king can now not castle because it's probably going to have to move. And this is a very interesting position. I don't know who I prefer. Probably prefer White. But when Black does move the king, it kind of... I don't know if Ranuk has some problems with his connection. Is that a possibility? Hope it's not my connection, because he's moving very slowly at the moment. Okay, he has moved. And I think you have to... And now I'm wondering about g5. Does Black play this move? Because this pawn is the one pawn blocking that bishop. So you want to get rid of that pawn, and g5 is one way to challenge the pawn on f4. If that pawn on f4 can be removed, you have checkmate coming up on h2. I expect a4 will be played here. Oh no, he's gone in here and he's threatening to take the e4 pawn. I kind of like white's position because this pawn is very weak. Black's king has not castled, and that means the rook is trapped on h8. That rook on h8 cannot get in the game. It's trapped there. And this pawn here may just be lost. Oh, no, he didn't do that. What did he do? Okay, so queen e7. Can we just go queen e2? Queen c2. Oh, g4. Wow. And now take this pawn. Daniel Naroditsky doing very well. I think if he wins this game as white, he's got a very, very big chance to win the whole thing. He'll be on 8 out of 8. And he is a pawn up now. Black's only chance is to try to get at the white king, I feel. Because the white king, you could say that the pawns in front of it are the bodyguards. And here the bodyguards have gone a little bit further away. I don't think that's a major problem, because white is protecting himself very well there. Black gets a threat. He threatens that pawn. So white defends the threat. White must be better. But actually, now h5, very clever move. Black trying to use the rook. If he can open up the rook towards h2, it would be, well, let's just say pretty juicy. And he's now put in this little move in the middle where if you take that one, it's checkmate. Anything is possible now. Any result is possible. And I think black has won a pawn back. Time situation. They're both getting to less than a minute. And at least I think for Daniel, he's managed to swap queens off. You have to say Runak came up with a brilliant attack there from nowhere. I think it's now time to have a look at the pawn structure and the pieces. I still like white's position because this knight, having a knight in the middle of the board, is really good. It seems to dominate the bishop. This bishop is stuck on a very bad square. You can't get rid of this knight. You have no pawns with black to attack that knight. So that knight will sit there forever. Just sit there and be like, bum, ba-dum, ba-bum. I'm just going to sit here. I'm just going to enjoy myself in the middle of the board. You can't get rid of it. And now Daniel trying. This is getting worse and worse for black. This pawn here, really weak pawn. And I think white's king is quite safe. The rook does a great job of defending it. But the main issue is just this pawn. Can white take it straight away? I probably wouldn't, because my knight is so good. You can take your time. It's best not to pick the grapes in early season. Wait until they get a bit of maturity in them. And then you'll have a much nicer crop of wine when you pick them. Don't get the immature grapes. Get the exotic, nice, older grapes. But he has eventually taken that pawn, and I'm not sure he should have done that because black's got his rook down to b3. And is Runak in a bit of time trouble? The answer is yes. I don't know what's happening here. What are we going to predict? I mean, it's a draw. Ah, boo, boo, boo. I'd be a good chess spectator, wouldn't I? I'd be sitting there, draw, boo. I wish you could do that at chess tournaments, you know, live chess tournaments. I mean, it might put off some of the other players, but any time a draw is agreed, you can go, boo, get out of here. You know, like they do in the execute them. We don't want to draw. We don't want to draw. I think I should have a button ready where we have that, and I can make some sort of nice sounds going on. Okay, but I mean, at the end of the day, that's not a bad result, and we have for Daniel, because he keeps his lead, but someone has joined him. It's the exotic princess strutting his stuff at the top there, which is going to lead, I mean, Jabava and one more player, Alexander Cacho. Oh, hang on a minute. So Blair's bet is in. Blair had a cheeky bet that Cacho was an IM was going to win the tournament. You're back in it, Blair. You're back in it. So we've got 3 players at the moment on 7.5, and I mean, these 2 players I'm sure have won it before. Has Daniel Naroditsky won Title Tuesday before? I'm still going for Daniel Naroditsky, but I really am a great fan of Jabava. I don't know the guy, the international master, in first. And it's tightening up the field. There's 3 games left. I'm going to take another break now. There is a break after round 8. I'm going to stop myself up on a bit of tea. So cheers. You can get a little bit of tea in if you want to. A little bit of green tea, I feel. Keep the energy up. And I'll be back very shortly. So I'll be back in a couple of minutes. Don't go anywhere. We've got loads more exciting action to come. And go and get yourself a cup of tea. And we're going to get ready for the end of this fascinating tournament. 3 rounds to go. Who is going to win this week's Title Tuesday? Can Daniel Naroditsky keep his lead over the other players? See you soon. Back in a sec.
It's looking really ominous, especially given that he's down on time. This is the Magnus Carlsen squeeze. Wow.
Hikaru's playing in front of hundreds of people. Imagine being in his shoes right now. I mean,
Up by 4 games. Oh, I can resign. Yeah, Hikaru knows it. It started with 16 players, and it all came down to one man, Magnus Carlsen.
And this is a pretty great matchup. I know people love Hikaru Nakamura.
Hikaru is the favorite for a reason.
He's the beast, an absolute monster.
It has been Hikaru's Speed Chess Championship this 2018. Hikaru Nakamura, the overall 1 seed, takes it home in the Speed Chess Championship.
Obviously, this is a rematch of last year's SCC final. What a finish, by the way. I mean, that's been the story of the match. Hikaru Nakamura has just kind of out-swindled, out-tricked, and out-calculated Wesley in the critical moment. Oh, dude, that's a nice move. Wesley's shaking his head. Hikaru wins a pawn. He's going to draw this game.
I can't believe it. What just happened?
That is unbelievable. Hikaru Nakamura holding that position. He had no business drawing that game.
Well, we're back again for the last segment of this Title Tuesday event. I'm actually just looking, this is really funny, you're going to find this very amusing. I've been looking just at the chat in Chess.com, not on the Twitch chat, but actually under the game, and Daniel Naroditsky is chatting on the thing, and apparently, I don't know if we're going to get confirmation on this, but Daniel Naroditsky is apparently on an aeroplane. And he's playing on his phone on an aeroplane. Is that true? How can you get good internet connection on your phone on the aeroplane? I don't understand that. I don't understand that at all. So I'm just looking at the chat, and he says, "Give me some slack. I'm on an aeroplane." I don't know. Maybe it's a euphemism or something. I don't know. Interesting. So he's doing pretty well for someone who's playing on his phone on an aeroplane. Yeah, interesting stuff. And we also got some information that Daniel won the first ever Title Tuesday event. So he's certainly won this event before. you know, that was a while back, obviously. When was the first Title Tuesday event? I don't know. When was it? When was the first Title Tuesday event? Anyone know? That was a while. It keeps one thing. I don't know. One thing why Twitch does this. It keeps doing the echo. It keeps doing the echo. Is that right? Okay, but that should be all right now. A little technical issues. Probably me clicking around too much. So anyway, the next game's going to start very soon. We've got 3 games left. Let's just have a look at the list of leaders. Very, very exciting finish here that could happen. We've got these 3. Alexander Kachko of Russia. I don't know who this guy is. I don't know. Is he another Russian prodigy? Quite possibly. And then we have Daniel Naroditsky, who we talked a lot about, Exotic Princess. Leon Beast is MVL from France. Very, very strong player. Champ is... I'm really impressed by this kid's play. He's 15 years old. I mean, what was I doing when I was 15? I was being very naughty and not playing much chess, that's for sure. But yeah, what a potential champ he is. He's got a good name there. And Angry Twin is another international master up there on 7. This group on 7 points could also win. I think the winning score this week, I reckon it will be 10 out of 11, but I might be wrong, of course. So that means these guys have to get 2.5 out of 3 to win. I reckon it'll either be 10 or it will be 9.5. That's my guess. Vidit, another strong player. And let's just scroll down a little bit. We got Penguin. Penguin is, well, he beat Hikaru last week. One of the fastest players, one of the fastest draws in the West. He's amazing bullet player. I saw Penguin once play, I think it was blindfold 15-second bullet. So what that means is he had 15 seconds, not for one move, but for the whole game. He had to play the whole game in 15 seconds, and he was blindfolded. So he couldn't see what he was doing. So he could only see the... I mean, it's just the discombobulator. Love that word. I always like for a bit of discombobulation in the nation. Oh yeah. Hello to Fiona in the chat as well. Hope you're doing well, Fiona. Go and check out Fiona's Twitch channel, which is Fion Shetter. It's legendary. It's a legendary channel. Good to see so many of you in the chat today. Anish is kind of up there, but I don't think he's going to win it on 6.5. I think 7 points is really the group. Hikaru is he's biting on the heels there. He's on 6.5. He's doing a little nibble. He's nibbling away. He's saying, I'm going to win my next 3. I might still get in the money, honey. I might still get in the money. We will see. So the games have started, and we're going to have a look now at... Oh, this is a big game. MVL versus Jabava. These are 2 brilliant players. Now, MVL with the white pieces really must win this one to have a chance, because he's half a point behind, but he has the advantage of the white pieces. The white pieces is kind of like having the serve in tennis. You know, you get to smack your opening in your opponent's face. Take that. Take the Spanish. Have a bit of English opening. Okay. And we have quite a solid approach from Jabava here. Jabava is known for his kind of obscure and unique openings, but here he's given MVL a lot of respect, and MVL is simply developing. Maybe the bishop will come here or here. The early stages of the game, control the center, get your pieces out, and get your king castled. Now the pawn structure, I would always say that white is a bit better here, because white has an extra pawn in the center of the board. Now that might not look like much, but having an extra central pawn is quite a big thing. It's quite a big thing. It can help you later on. And a normal approach here, which Grandmaster Keith Arkell uses a lot, is what's called the minority attack. And that is, this is a more positional game. than some of the other ones we've seen. And when it's positional, it means that both sides' pieces are not really as active. You can see that the bishop's not really doing much, they're just waiting. So it's more often then to do with how you use your pawns. And the minority attack is when you attack your opponent's majority of pawns with your minority. So these two pawns can aim to attack these pawns here. Oh, look at that, a bit of green. A bit of green, eh? A bit of green. And we might see that coming up later on. On the other hand, Jabava has decided to just pressurize d4. Another approach I might consider here is using the h-pawn to try and, well, I love pushing Harry the h-pawn, to try and to attack the king there. This could, okay, but you can see he's going for the minority of pawns. Report? Is that a film? The Minority Report. He's doing a little minority attack, and I think he's going to maybe play on both wings now. Oh no, he's come in the center. Interesting decision. So he's opening up the center of the board, and I think that's because his bishop was trapped, and by clearing up all the pawns in the center, the bishop here might come to life. So he's trying to get this sniper better range, give it a better range. And now the position is continuing with maybe pawn takes here and something like rook d2. But the danger of playing like this for okay, he's grabbed the pawn, but now black's going to grab the central pawn. To me, it looks very even. This looks like a very even game. I don't think MVL should have played that move. That was a little bit rushed. Sometimes when you're controlling the position, it's much better just to wait and try to build it up little by little. You can always press the turbocharge button if you're controlling the position, but pressing it too soon can lead to lots of simplifications. And the more pieces that get swapped off when it's equal material, the more likely to a draw it's going to become. And this should be a draw, but it doesn't mean it will be a draw. MVL now thinking how he can try and cause some problems here. He's got to be a little bit careful of his back rank. So he's played g3 so that his king has another escape square on g2. But this could be a mistake. Look at the bar. The bar has massively changed. Queen a1. Queen a1. This seems really strange. He's gone here instead. Oh, queen e4 check. Trying to fork the king and the rook. So if you take on b7, queen e4, and this is what's called a fork, attacking two pieces at once. So after queen e5, now MVL has to come back and defend. And black certainly has a better position now. For a start, black can just win a pawn on a5. Could Jabava win this game? And that would be very good. We have Penguin just looking at the scores. Keep an eye on the scores below. There's only 2 rounds left after this one. Penguin is shot up. And this position now very tricky for MVL. Black is a pawn up, so he blundered with this g3 move. g3 was too slow. Can Jabava win this one? He's trying to get his king a little bit safer. If I was black here, I'd be trying to maybe create a passed pawn. So MVL has stopped that one by controlling that. Instead, Jabava's got another way he's trying to play this. He's trying to exchange queens off and go into a rook ending. One thing I know about MVL is that his rook endings are brilliant. MVL is such a good defender. When you're one of the best players in the world, you have to know defend. And he's gone for this one. Very interesting decision. And if pawn takes pawn, black will be 2 pawns up, but then white can get his rook behind the pawns. And when you're okay, he's done this way. He's going sideways. I thought he could have come... oh, no, that didn't happen. Sorry, getting excited there. Okay, he has. He's got his rook behind the passed pawn. This is endgame technique. And grandmasters generally always know where their pieces should go in the ending. And this is why Jabava's moved his rook back. Getting your rook behind the passed pawn is key. And he's not in a rush to take this one. Black's winning plan is to come over with the king and then support the pawn coming forward. So you've got to use the king and the pawn to come forwards like this. very good winning chances. On the other hand, MVL needs to try and create some chances over there. He needs to bring his king in and try to win one of these pawns. At some point, White's going to have to give his rook up for the pawn, because otherwise you can't stop it. These guys literally just come forwards, like Space Invaders, with sound effects. That took a lot of effort, but I don't know how he's going to do this. Okay, well, he can go king b2, b3. I think it's winning for black. It must be, because there's no way that White can win a pawn over here. Okay, he's gone for it, but this pawn, rook b7, is winning. Rook b7 is the winning move at some point, surely. Get your rook behind the passed pawn. That would be winning. If he plays that, it's winning. He's done it. Rook behind the passed pawn. Jabava is going to win. Brilliant result for Jabava. He's leading. And now this pawn is unstoppable. I don't think there's any way you can even give your rook up for the pawn. And of course, the black king now going to take everything. Only chance here is to play rook e1. This is the only chance. But this must be winning now, because you can get your rook up. You get your rook behind the one pawn. Oh, this is brilliant. And now we come up and come here. It's still very close, but this is the winning way. And there we go. It's checkmate next move. Very nice finish as well. And that does, there's two players in the lead, and it's two of my favorite players. Daniel Naroditsky won again. Well done to Daniel. Apparently playing, maybe playing on an aeroplane. And we have Jabava generally streaming as well, so you can check out his stream. It's always good to spread the stream love, I feel. Vidit is up there. This group on 8 out of 9, very good chances, but there's no real IMs up there. The only IM is in 6th place. He's going to need to get a couple of wins on the board there. Penguin, good to see him. I don't know who Tupac is. He's come back from the dead. Tupac. What's my favourite Tupac song? I'm trying to think now. What's my favourite? I can't remember any Tupac songs. Shame on me. And Vidit. So it's really exciting, isn't it? Really exciting. I'm just going to see if there's any more games we can leave it on while we have a look. Favourite Tupac songs? California. Okay, you're not going to get me singing now. That would be really embarrassing. Yeah, no. I was tempted. I'm on the tee today. I certainly need wine or something before you get me singing. I mean, I don't know if Chess.com would be very happy if I drank a load of wine and then commentated. It would be very amusing, but I'd probably lose my job. So you'd definitely get some singing out of me. What do you guys reckon? Do you want wind-ups? No, we're not going there. I'm sticking to the tee. I'm being very well behaved. So at the top, let's just have a look. The penultimate round is getting very close to starting. We're in round 9 of 11, and there's only 2 more games to go. The time limit, 3 minutes plus 1 second to move, and you don't get knocked out. It's your accumulated score. Quite important, and I haven't actually got that very well shown. I'm gonna let me just do one. Oh, round 10 started. Let's not worry about that. We're going straight in. This is the game. Whoever wins this game will probably win the whole competition. And I have to say, it's a bit tough for Jabava, who gets a second black in a row. Jabava is black again. Whoever wins this game will win the whole competition. Are they going to agree a quick draw and try to win the next one? Jabava's going for the black lion. Come on, black lion him. And someone's done a very good course on this. And I really do like this system for black. It's very solid. But again, most grandmasters prefer white's position because white has this space advantage, meaning he has 2 pawns in the center of the board and black only has 1. But Daniel now taking that pawn off, so we get a symmetrical pawn structure, meaning that there's no advantage in the pawn. So it's all coming down to pieces. If the pawn structure is reasonably symmetrical, equal, then there's not going to be many weaknesses there. It's who's got the better pieces. And it looks to me that white has the better pieces. This bishop attacking f7. This bishop could be very useful for attacking that square, but it's not a big thing. Black's pieces, on the other hand, this bishop a little bit blocked. So a little bit better. If I was white here, I'd bring my knight to f5 now. Get the knight in. Get the knight nearer the king. This knight's not doing much. Will he play it? Will he play knight h4? Will he play? I'd love to see him play knight h4 here. Is he going to play it? Is he going to play it? If you're wondering where I'm streaming from, it is SeaWorld. Is it SeaWorld? There is actually a place. Oh, he's gone the other way. Okay, he's gone the other way. He's trying to bring his knight out this way. The one problem that black has here is this bishop. So this is the issue. There's a place actually off the south coast of England, or the east coast of England, called SeaWorld, which is basically this place which has claimed itself as its own country, but it's actually like a fort from the war. I don't know why I'm talking about this, just in case you want to know about Sealand. Sealand, that's the one, Sealand. And yeah, it's got a really interesting history. They basically claimed this fort as their own territory. Really weird. But why am I talking about sea? How did I get onto Sealand? Anyway, back to the position. It looks now that white is really going for it. Whatever the result of this game, you've got to say to Daniel, who could have taken maybe an easier approach and gone for a draw, you've got to say to Daniel, I like your style, because he's throwing all the pieces at black's king. And I like the way he's at least trying to win rather than taking a draw. He's going for it. And he's now maneuvering another piece over to attack the black king. Funnily enough, though, the computer really likes black's position. But Jabava decides to go into a little bit of defense there, bringing the bishop back to defend these squares. Daniel brings another piece into the attack. Even though the computer likes black, I have to say I would take white here because I love attacking. Saying that, Jabava's starting counterplay in the middle of the board. He has the open file. Daniel going forwards. Remember, whoever wins this game is probably going to win Title Tuesday. The prizes are 4 prizes. It's $1,000 for first prize. Not too shabby. You might be able to get a little piece of Sealand with that, potentially. And the knight comes in. So what is okay? Well, this could be a sacrifice, because now black is thinking black could play knight takes d3, pawn takes, bishop takes b3, winning a pawn. But now it's white's turn to have some fun, and white has 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces attacking, and white could play something like knight takes h6. And if you take that one back, I come in here showing the dangers of the position. So back to the game. Bishop takes f5. I think black had to get rid of that dangerous knight. And Jabava now aiming to swap the queens off the board. This is very clever play from black. White's queen is very dangerous, as we saw in that last position. So he's trying to get rid of the queens, and now he's centralized his queen. I have to admit now, it's looking good for Jabava. He's picked up a pawn. The exotic princess is showing her charms. Knight takes e4. I think Daniel was in serious trouble here. His attack just didn't work. Black has defended brilliantly here. Very nice defense from black. Bishop to e3. Where's the queen going to go? It'll probably... No, it can't go there, because then the knight's on pre. Can it go to... Okay, he has to keep an eye on the knight. This is the only thing, because that... You can easily work out if a knight is okay or a piece is okay and defended. If you calculate how many pieces defending that knight, this knight here and the queen here. So I've got 2 pieces defending. How many pieces are attacking that knight? The bishop here and the queen. So there's 2 pieces attacking. In order to win a piece, you have to have more attacking than your opponent has defending. So that didn't happen. Knight g4. Daniel's playing very risky. Jabava's won the rook, but Daniel's going all out for the attack. All out for the attack. Knight takes f6. Can white checkmate with these 3 pieces somehow? I don't think so. You can see just how strong this bishop is. This bishop defends the king side. This is why black did that very clever move of moving the bishop back here. Does white have any chances? It's looking really bad for Daniel, but keep an eye on the clock. Funny things can happen when both sides get short of time. which they are here. Bishop c4, aiming to attack the pawn on f7. And I think it's still looking good for black, but it's actually looking a little bit more dangerous, because there's a big threat. If white can take on h6, the black king becomes very exposed. So he's found a way to defend, but now he's won a pawn. So this is actually a little bit unclear. A little bit unclear now. Bishop g5, bishop g5. Can you play bishop g5? This could be very good. Bishop g5, rook takes f7. No! Could he have done this move? Let's have a look. Bishop g5, and if rook takes f7, bishop takes d8. But instead, Daniel has played bishop f4. But look at the time. Queen d7, bishop g6. This is a critical moment in this week's Titled Tuesday competition. The black king is now looking really exposed. Daniel is coming up with some great attacking pieces and moves. Oh, I don't know. Maybe Daniel is going to do it. He's going to do it. To be honest, I think in this one, it's the typical case that Jabava was doing well, but when you're playing blitz chess, it's more important maybe not to be doing well, but to have the initiative. And now white is completely winning. He might, okay, bishop takes f5. Look at this rook. Daniel was winning. Queen g6 is a big threat. He's going to be going crazy. Jabava is going to be going crazy. This is checkmate. Bishop takes f6 is coming, or queen h7, checkmate in one move is checkmate. What a turnaround. Well done to Daniel. Unlucky to Jabava. Oh, what an end to the match that was. That was a brilliant end. And you have to say, Jabava's chances have now been lost. It's afraid it's gone that bad way. And Daniel Naroditsky turned up the heat there at the end. Let's just have a look how it happened. Around here, Jabava has won a pawn. But you know what Daniel says? And this is a brilliant thing to do. We can all learn from this. When something goes wrong in your position, and it's gone wrong for white here, because the black knight has won a pawn, there is something as saying, okay, I'm just going to go all in. I'm going to take many more risks now that the position has gone wrong. And by that, you can just go, oh, you know, to hell with it. Have my rook. Have my rook. I don't care. And instead, I'm just going to go straight for your king. This is like the kamikaze approach. Obviously, the famous Japanese pilots, when they were losing the war, they're like, okay, well, look, I'm just going to go for it. I'm going to give my life up to cause as much damage as I can. And you can see this kind of happening now with the king. And the problem is, black is doing well, but the king is more, it's more in a precarious situation compared to white's king, which is very well defended here. So, and that was the telling thing. And as the game goes on, you can see that white's bishop starts to create real havoc here, creeping into the position. Now, if you want to avoid the ads, you can obviously subscribe to the channel. Do remember, if you do subscribe, there's so much stuff on Chess.com that's going on, and it's a good way to support presenters like me and the people who make these shows possible. So, you know, it's an easy way just to get good free content. Okay, so we're going on. I think Penguin, you should be concentrating on your games. You know, you're in second place, Penguin. You're playing for first. So Penguin is in the chat and Twitch, which is quite amazing. And look, he is now on 9 points, and he's playing against Daniel Naroditsky. This is going to be one major game. If Penguin wins, he's going to win the whole thing. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready. Oh yeah. I hope he's not listening to the commentary while he's playing. To be honest, that would be a terrible idea. If he was listening to me suggesting moves on his own game, he wouldn't be at the top of this chart. He would be, I think, more down the bottom. So yeah, but it's very interesting to see the scores. Who else is up there? Hikaru has made a little comeback. He's in 5th place. So Hikaru's on a bit of a roll of wins as well. And we just saw Jabava lose that one. So it's the last round. Let's go. And this is the game for the whole championships. It's all on this one. Penguin needs to win. If Penguin wins, you've got the scores below me. If Penguin wins with white, he gets 10 points and he wins the whole thing. The winning score is going to be 10 points at least. Oh, what's going to happen here, guys? Is white going to win? This is what it's all come down to. It's all come down to this last game. White needs to win to take $1,000, but more importantly, the champion of internet chess, the title Tuesday. We have a King's Indian defense. I have to say, I'm so impressed just by, in general, Daniel Naroditsky's approach. I know he had that draw, but his approach, he's taking lots of risks. And playing the King's Gambit, which is a really risky opening, when you maybe only need a draw to win it, is like, right, come on, I don't mind. Let's remember, if Daniel does draw, looking at the scores, he gets to 10 points and no one can catch him. So black needs to draw or win, and this is really exciting. Oof. Now, Penguin playing Queen D2. I don't know if he's going to go completely crazy and start pushing his H-pawn. Is he going to go H4, H5? No, he's playing it much more sensibly. He's just going to castle. Black, I don't really like black's position because these pawns seem a little bit weak. And you've got to look out for where there's open lines. And there's an open line here. And Penguin has an idea of just attacking that pawn later on. On the other hand, Daniel's got to play aggressively, and he's done that. And maybe he's going to try to bring the bishop out here. And we can see that Penguin is attacking. That's called a backwards pawn. It's a pawn that's on an open line where your opponent can attack it. So that's a pawn weakness. So white has the better position. But anything, again, can happen here. I don't like Daniel's opening choice. When you need to draw, you should probably go for a more solid opening. It's very risky playing this crazy King's Indian when you only need a draw. Queen E7 played. Well, it's still in the balance at the moment. Anything can happen. Who do we think is going to win? I'm interested to see. Queen E7, and can white now play D5? This is what he's thinking of, with the idea of attacking that one. You can play D5. Let's have a look. So you could go D5, placing that knight under some pressure. You can't take this one because now bishop takes B6, wins a piece, but black can go C5 here. I don't know if Penguin wants to do this. He hasn't. He's gone bishop F2. The idea of this one is to vacate that square for one of his worst pieces, and his worst piece here is the knight on D1. The knight on D1 can now move to that square. This is typical grandmaster maneuvering. You look at your worst pieces, this knight, which is clearly a problem piece, it gets in the way of the rooks, and you think, okay, where do I want to put that knight? And you try to think of a better square. So I think this is his idea. I mean, another move he could have played was knight to B2 and then bring the knight somewhere like C4. The problem Daniel has, he hasn't got much activity here. What can actually black do? You want to have pawn breaks in your position, and black doesn't have pawn breaks here. If he goes A4, queen takes B4, just wins a pawn in the position. And oh no, his connection. Now let's remember, Daniel is on an aeroplane. Oh no, he's going through turbulence. Daniel is playing this. He might be the first ever person to win title Tuesday in 30,000 feet in the air, or however high an airplane goes, but his connection's gone. His connection's gone. No, his connection's gone. Look, you can see the red thing. His connection's gone. Get out of turbulence. The plane, get your connection back, plane. Oh, he's probably shaking there now. Get the connection back. Oh no, this could be a horrible way. This could be a horrible way to the title Tuesday's done. Don't, come on aeroplane. Come on aeroplane. I can see him now. Connection, connect to Wi-Fi. Aeroplane's Wi-Fi is terrible. Connect to Wi-Fi. He should have got a first class seat, because then the connection would have been better. It's going to cost him dearly here. Connect, get on. He's doing it 20 seconds. Can he get the connect button? 15 seconds. Connect. Luggage is falling on his head. Someone's drink goes straight in his face. And he's still... Oh, no. He's connected. He's connected. Boom! Oh, no. He's connected with 6 seconds left. Oh, my words. Oh, but he's blundered a piece. He panicked and he's blundered a piece. Oh, poor... I have to say, poor old Daniel. That was so harsh. He connected with 4 seconds left. But he made a move. He's wiping the drink off his face. He's you know, he's got a suitcase on his head and he plays a move and it's a blunder. Oh no. And unfortunately, oh no, what happened there? The move he played was a blunder. Oh no, and of course he lost that one. Oh, that is quite a sad end. But at least now he can ask the stewardess, can I have a napkin please? I've got to get the drink off my face and I'll have a large whiskey please. I'm also suing you for your internet connection. That cost me $750. You're going to see my lawyer next week. Does he actually have a case to sue them? Does he? I don't know. Can he sue them? Maybe he can sue them. Maybe he can sue the aeroplane for the internet. Come on, I want to see that in the news. Anyway, all out of all, I have to say, congratulations to Penguin. And to be honest, Penguin did absolutely nothing wrong. And if we go back to the position here where all the drama happened, Penguin's a bit better in this position. He's got more pawns in the center. He's got the open C file. And there's no reason he should give Daniel a draw. It's not his fault that Daniel's on an aeroplane. You know, imagine how strong Daniel would be if he's actually at a computer and not on an aeroplane. I've never, you know, that would be the first time anyone's ever won Title Tuesday from in the air, but it hasn't happened. And Daniel has now dropped down. Congratulations to Penguin. Is it the first time that Penguin has ever won? Is it the first time that ever won? Daniel, so unfortunate there. We heard that you were on an aeroplane. You did so well. Your connection went just at the wrong moment. Oh, we were cheering for you a bit there, but of course, Daniel, sue the aeroplane. Sue the aeroplane. We now have Daniel in the chat, which is great. I would sue the aeroplane for their dodgy connection. Oh, I'm sorry. That's such a sorry finish, but I have to say, congratulations to Penguin. It might be the first time Penguin's ever won Title Tuesday. He's a very, very talented player, and there's still a couple of games going on. There's 4 places that pay out. We actually only have an NM, which is lower than an International Master, lower than a FIDE Master. I think it's short for Normalized Master, Nominal Master. Is that what it is? Nominal Master, NM. What could it be short for? Nobby Master? I don't know. I'm going to be rude here if I keep going. So, oh, Hikaru's popped up to 3rd place. Okay, I'm going to see if there's any more games going on. Hikaru somehow recovered to 3rd place. He's in 3rd place now. And that's a really good recover from Hikaru, who had some bad games earlier on. The top 4 places seem to give prizes. And we're just going to look if there's any more games going on. The games are slowly ending now. And we're going to have a look at who's won the prizes. Daniel Naroditsky, it was bad turbulence. Did you get a drink in your face, Daniel? Did you get a suitcase on your head? This is what we want to know. I can just imagine you on your phone, literally jumping all over, trying to play the last round. I can picture it now, just trying to use your finger to get the connection button while you're all over. Okay, you did get a bit of water thrown all over you. Oh no, Daniel. Well, look, I have to say you did amazingly well for coming 2nd, considering you had turbulence over the Rocky Mountains on a plane. I mean, I don't know if anyone's done that before, so congratulations on that good result. That's really funny, actually. Okay, let's have a look at the scores. There's only a couple more games going on. Penguin, congratulations. Go and check out Penguin's Twitch channel. Hikaru has now overtaken Daniel on tiebreak. Oh, another blow to Daniel. Another blow. Oh no, his last 5 minutes has been horrible. Hikaru takes the silver medal. But well done to Hikaru. Daniel in 3rd place. And some other scores here. I think anyone who finishes, I mean, it's such a hard tournament. Anyone in the top 20 is done very well. Well, I mean, it's only because I dream of coming in the top 20. And we'll have a look down. Vidit, 9 out of 11. Good score. Jabava, 9 out of 11. Anish, there's some big names there. Eric Hansen was up there as well. So there we go. Oh, that was intense. That was intense, guys. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. For you know, as much as possible. It was extremely exciting this week, and a bit dominated by American players. So well done to US of A, who've got really. I mean, Penguin's got his flag up as well done to North Korea. That is just naughty, isn't it? North Korea come top. I think Penguin's actually from America, so it's an American 1, 2, 3. Congratulations to the guys at the top. Really well done. We got the winner in the chat, so congratulations to Penguin. Well done, Penguin. I don't know. Well, they don't have COVID in North Korea, do they? Apparently, so maybe it's the safest place on the world to be because there's no COVID in North Korea. I'm probably going to get assassinated by them now. Okay, I'll stop there. Don't get myself in trouble. I have to keep reminding myself these things. Don't get myself in trouble. Don't do it, Simon. Be careful. Now, yeah, so we can check out all these guys at the top, all the 3 people. They all have their Twitch channels. Go and check them out. Go and subscribe and follow them. Penguin, Hikaru, Daniel. If you want to look at my stuff, it's GingerGM, twitch.tv/GingerGM, and you can check out my YouTube channel as well, which is just GingerGM. If you just search GingerGM, you'll find me somewhere. So what a brilliant event. Okay, well, I'm gonna now show you a bit of a hype video, and then we're gonna wrap up the show. Have a great night, everyone. Enjoy yourselves, or great day, depending where you are. It's been a load of fun. Thank you very much, and stay tuned just to see the hype and get some information on some great things coming up.
It's looking really ominous, especially given that he's down on time. This is the Magnus Carlsen squeeze. Wow.
Hikaru's playing in front of hundreds of people. Imagine being in his shoes right now. I mean,
Up by 4 games. Oh, I can resign. Yeah, Hikaru knows it. It started with 16 players, and it all came down to one man, Magnus Carlsen.
And this is a pretty great matchup. I know people love Hikaru Nakamura.
Hikaru is the favorite for a reason.
He's the beast, an absolute monster.
It has been Hikaru's Speed Chess Championship this 2018. Hikaru Nakamura, the overall 1 seed, takes it home in the Speed Chess Championship.
Obviously, this is a rematch of last year's SCC final. What a finish, by the way. I mean, that's been the story of the match. Hikaru Nakamura has just kind of out-swindled, out-tricked, and out-calculated Wesley in the critical moment. Oh, dude, that's a nice move. Wesley's shaking his head. Hikaru wins a pawn. He's going to draw this game.
I can't believe it what just happened.
Unbelievable. Hikaru Nakamura holding that position. He had no business drawing that game.